Don't be shy. What's up, Ricardo?
You want to say hi to you, you know what I'm saying? But Mike, listen, man, this is gonna be all your week. We're gonna celebrate your week the whole week, you know what I'm saying? And so my man, come here, Carlos. I want you to well, he said he know who you is too, Mike. So he wanna do something for you, Mike.
All right.
They all love you, Mike. They love you, baby.
Baby.
Love you.
Love is love. That is so much love, man. I've been receiving, me and my spouse, my baby, my girl, my wife been receiving so much love since Saturday. We appreciate everything. We appreciate you, Donny, man. No matter where you are, you're always in our heart and always showing us that love. We appreciate that, man. You family.
You my man, man. You know, man, we stuck together, you know what I mean? So, whatever I can do to put a smile on your face and your face, I'm going to do that, player.
You do that. You always put that smile on my face, man. Brothers for life, man. You ready to get into tonight's show?
Let's go, baby boy.
Hey, it's our sports night, and we got some great guests hanging out with us tonight, breaking down some of the hottest topics in the sports world, including we're going to break down what it means to have a great legacy, what it takes to have a great legacy, and how do you even define or measure someone's legacy?
Man, by championships, you know what I mean? We're talking about sports, you know what I mean? The more championships you have, you know what I'm saying? That's a great legacy. But a lot of guys don't get the credit that didn't win championships. So, there's a lot of those guys out there too. But yeah. Rings, 17 championships. Lakers, I'm a Laker fan, so
it's our sports night, so I had to wait. I'm gonna give your Lakers the love.
You hater. You're a hater. You're a Laker hater.
I'm not a hater, man. Look, I got purple on tonight, man. I did that for your Lakers.
By default. That ain't the real purple. I don't know what type of purple that is.
The only thing I had that was clean right now. I ain't been to the cleaners in a while. I've been kind of busy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, you ready to make this happen, man? Let's get into it.
Baby boy, let's go.
Let's welcome entrepreneur and son of the legendary Earl Lloyd, Kenny Lloyd, and sports and entertainment journalist Amina J. Smith. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing tonight?
How you doing, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing incredible, man. I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm doing good, y'all. Thanks for having me on.
How about the entertainment? Look, see my big brother does for me. Look how you see how he takes care of me there, Kenny.
Hey, he deserved it, man. You know what I mean? Hey, he didn't go. Hey, Ken, he didn't go on a big vacation. You know what I mean? A honeymoon yet. He's gonna go do that. You know what I mean? After probably in a couple of weeks. But shit, we got to show him some love. Why? You know what I mean? He's a newlywed, man.
Hey, man, teamwork, make the dream work, man.
Can I tell you something, Kenny? Amina, close your ears for a second. If I was,
let me make sure I close my ears.
If I wasn't married right now, I'd probably be with Donny, and it probably wouldn't be no horn playing right now. It'd be something.
Hey, Amina, he has to live vicariously through me now.
Yes, and
I see that. I see that.
I plan to. Amina, looking great. Me and Amina go way back. Just one of those young ladies that's a sports journalist that's doing her thing, and look, the quarantine has done you well. Look like you've been even in more shape. I know you were a former track star back in college.
Look, I ran track in college. I work out a lot. I'm gonna tell y'all the secret. I box. Okay, so anybody that ever had pressure with me, look, I got them hands.
I'm
boxing is the secret to keep off that quarantine 15, y'all.
Oh, I'm so sorry for calling you a flip-flopper then, knowing that you box. I'm sorry.
See, okay, that's what I was telling you, Donny. Look, I don't play. I'm loyal 10 toes down, but I do have these hands.
Let me tell you how loyal she is. Look, she see that Miami Hurricane. And Donny, like you got some Miami Hurricane gear on right now. Seems like you got the little the green on.
I love the Hurricane. I love them guys. I love them guys. Yeah.
She's about to get married herself. Her fiance is a former Miami Hurricane. She was supposed to get married, I believe, in June. I think she's pushed to February, right, Amina?
Yeah, we were supposed to get married in June 20th. Obviously, the pandemic hit, so we could not do that. So we moved it to February 20th and hoping that we could have a COVID-free wedding. We had to cut down the guest list and everything like that, but we'll be handing out masks and it will be good to go. I'm just ready to get to the altar, y'all. I just spent so much money on this dress and this photographer, so I got to give all of these looks. Let's get there, get married, and we'll get these pictures and keep it moving.
Well, we know you're going to look beautiful. We thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
It's a nice show. Hey, y'all, before we get into the whole sports thing, I got to bring this up because I love me some Ice Cube. I used to work with him with the Big Three when he was with Fox and all that type of stuff. And I love what he's doing when it comes to the contract with Black America. But I never expected to hear what I heard today, that Ice Cube is working with the Trump administration when it comes to the Black agenda for Black people, Trump's platinum plan. A lot of people got a lot of opinions about it on Twitter right now. I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Look, I'll go first. I'll jump in. I actually just saw it trending on Twitter just now. And, you know, Mike, you brought it up before the show started. And it just feels weird whenever you associate yourself with Donald Trump. And I get what Ice Cube is trying to do. I get he's trying to move the agenda forward just in case, you know, if Donald Trump, you know, wins the election again, you know, you want to have a plan to move forward. When you talk about the Black community, obviously everything that we're fighting for right now. But for some reason, to me, I can't trust it. It just doesn't feel right. I'm not going to lie. Like, of course, I'm all for kind of, you know, making solutions and moving forward and having those conversations, which is great. But for some reason, you know, not even for some reason, we know we can't trust the government and people who are in politics. I'm going to just be straightforward about it. I just don't trust people that are in the White House. And that's just the bottom line.
Either one of them. Kenny, how do you feel, brother?
No, man, a long time ago, man, there was somebody named Sammy Davis Jr., right? And man, they used to criticize Sammy and say, you're a Republican, man, and you're a coon. And, you know, one day Sammy broke it down. He said, look, somebody got to be on the inside, okay? And so I feel like that. I feel like we have to have somebody that's real, that's on the inside representing us or finding out or letting us know what's really going on. So I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying that, you know, man, this politics is a game, man, and we have to learn how to play the game, and we got to have an insider representing us.
Okay. I want to say this, Mike. I love what Amina said. I don't trust politics.
Right.
I don't care about the Democrats, and I don't care about the Republicans. I think they all both full of shit. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we as Black people got to come together and start building, getting our own thing going and build for one another, what for us. And whoever's going to give us something, you know what I'm saying, to help us grow, I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what Ice Cube is doing. You know what I mean? Because, hey, the Democrats didn't reach out to him. He put the call out to the Democrats and he put the call out to the Republicans. And the Republicans reached back out to him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I feel like. I'm like, whoever's going to give us something, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, forget them giving us something. We have to start building our own thing with our own Black people. And we got to start building generational wealth and come together because we got enough bread now.
We always talk about that unity and that come together. And one thing you did not see, and just because he's been associated with Trump through this doesn't mean he's actually endorsing Trump or he's voting for Trump. That's not what he's doing. But he did put out a tweet tonight talking about put out the contract with Black Americans. Donny said both parties contacted me. Dem said we'll address the CWBA after the election. Trump campaign made some adjustments to their plan after talking to us about the contract with Black America. But like Amina said, it just feels greasy a little bit anytime you associate yourself with Trump. And I've kind of made the analogy to somebody that wants to get on when it comes to being in music right now. You know, you can say, hey, I really want to get me some platinum hits, but I probably ain't gonna work with R. Kelly right now. You know what I mean? Even though if R. Kelly could be a great producer and give me some platinum hits or whatnot, he can produce some great hits, I probably ain't gonna work with him right now. But I do understand you have to be on the inside just in case Trump wins so we can get something out of this. But we'll see what happens.
But you know what's cold, Mike? I want to say this. You know, back in the day, everybody used to roll with Trump. Everybody. Russell Simmons, everybody used to be rolling with Trump. When Mike Tyson, everybody used to be rolling with Trump. But now that he's president, you know what I'm saying, and he's speaking that divide people, nobody wants to be down with him. But we have to remember, all of them was with Trump, rolling with Trump, way back in the day when he had Trump Towers.
Yeah, rapping about Trump too. Don't forget about that, because he was definitely in everybody's rap songs.
Yes.
Trump represented that wealth that Black people in the hood wanted or whatnot, Trump Towers or whatnot. Even when he was on The Apprentice, we watched his shows or whatnot. We did a lot of that type of stuff, but now we have knowledge. We're not ignorant as much as we used to be. And there's nothing wrong with being ignorant. Hell, back in the 60s, back in the 70s, when I was growing up, 80s, I should say, one of my favorite shows was The Dukes of Hazzard with the General Lee.
Yeah.
I wanted a car. I didn't even know what it represented at that time, man. But now I know. So once you represent yourself and you understand what's going on and you give yourself that knowledge and education, man, you can make better decisions in your life. All right, we're going to get rid of this because we're going to get into sports, man. We're going to take our first break. We're talking legacy on the other side. How do we measure one's history of greatness? And is it even fair to compare? We're getting to that coming up next on the Mike and Donny Show.
It's all of our responsibility to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. You can still use your outdoor spaces like yards and decks. It's also okay to go for a walk or exercise outside. Wear a cloth face covering, stay at least 6 feet away from other people, try not to touch any surfaces, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit asiaretirement.org/Shiro.
We're back on the Mike and Donny show talking sports here tonight. Mike Hill, my man Donny Harrell. We are talking to Kenny Lloyd and sports and entertainment journalist Amina J. Smith. It looks so sexy where you are right now, Donny. I'm just
trying to live life, man. You only live once, man. We got to start living life. Black people got to start living life, man. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you know we going. We got a ticket one day, so I'm going to live this life to the fullest, baby.
He living like, I got married Saturday. He's on the honeymoon. Ain't that something? We got some comments. We was talking about the Ice Cube situation with Donald Trump. RJ Renee, one of our favorite watchers, says he's not associating with Trump. He's trying to work with people who can adhere to our plight. Ice Cube is doing the thing. Salute King Ice Cube. And Chris B says he's telling folks to hold their vote. Hold it. Look, November 3rd, don't hold it until November 3rd, unless you're going to do some early voting. But November 3rd, you need to let that vote go. Somebody, you got to vote.
Hey, Mike, you know what I feel Ice Cube is doing? You know how you see that bully over there always bullying, and Ice Cube step to him and say, man, what you going to give us, man? You're going to stop bullying. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel. Ice Cube had enough nerve to step to him and say, what you going to do for us, Mr. Big Badass? You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, put your money where your mouth is. That's what I feel, you know what I'm saying, Ice Cube is doing. So, you know, he had the nerve to step to him.
He's basically saying stop taking the black vote for granted, Democrat, because that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been exactly giving it to them. Hey, you know what? Let's talk sports tonight because I want to give your boys some love. Give it up to the Lakers. 17th NBA title, tied for the most all time. I got to ask this question, man. Like, Lakers straight up tied with the Boston Celtics. Now, I kind of know your answer, but I want to get your opinion here. Are the Lakers now the best NBA franchise of all time? I'm
going to let them answer.
Okay.
Look, because you know Donny's gonna say yes.
Yes.
Come on,
okay.
We know Donny is a Lakers fan, but I feel like if you're tied, are you really the best though?
But that's what I'm asking. So it could be. I think it's between Boston and LA, but now
it's definitely between Boston and LA. But you know, we got to have a tiebreaker. If we going off a titles, it got to be a tiebreaker.
I think it's a matter of where you're from. You know, like you got your people, man, that just love Boston. You got your people who love LA because both of them, man, are historic franchises, man. But it's a matter of where you're from. Now, me, I'm from Detroit, but look, man, I love LA. But now I will tell you this: I'm a LeBron fan. Okay, wherever LeBron goes, that's the team I love because I'm a LeBron fan. Okay.
LeBron is a
hey, Lloyd, you know Detroit and LA is damn near brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we kind of like brothers. The dude from the D and the dude from the LA, they get along so swell. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is, baby. The Lakers, baby.
Right? I said, hey, I'm an LA man. All right.
Yes.
The
Right, that's not even good. I'm only gonna jump in because you know what? I was actually rooting for the Heat. You see, we got people like Lloyd who are just LeBron fans and they just jump on the bandwagon for the Lakers. That don't count, y'all. That don't
No.
count.
I mean, he ain't. I mean, he's not jumping on the bandwagon. I just told you, LA and Detroit are damn near brothers.
You don't know about that.
You got to know where was Magic from. Where did Magic come from?
Exactly.
Came from Michigan.
Came from Michigan.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, like, I've been an LA fan for a long time, but I'm a LeBron fan too, though. I'm
going to answer the question now. I think the Lakers, I'm going to give it to you. The Lakers are the best NBA franchise of all time, even though they both have 17. Remember, the Boston Celtics won 8 straight and 9 out of 10 back in the 60s, one period. Over a consistent period of time, the Lakers have been that team. And you talk about the players that they've developed over the years consistently throughout the history of the NBA. I'm going to have to give it to the LA Lakers. But, you know, the big debate has always been about LeBron James, 4th title, only player to win finals MVP on 3 different teams in 3 different cities. With this title, though, what do you think this MVP, I should say, a finals MVP does for him and his legacy?
I think for me, it doesn't even, it changes a lot, but not really. I think the biggest thing is that he's able to do this in his 17th year of his career. I think that's what sets it apart. When you talk about the performance that he's had in the finals and what he's been able to do and really kind of put that Lakers team on his back, and of course, with all those accolades that he already has, I think that's what differentiates this title from everything else, is that it's his 17th year in the league. That's not something that happened. He's playing at an extremely high level. His 17th year in the league. You don't see that very often or really at all.
You know what, though? For me, it's like, what have you done for me lately? Because you always hear this question when he wins, but you know, they're always like last year when he was injured, man. They did everything but write him off. You know, I mean, for real, they dogged him. They talked about him, and I mean, he wasn't even in the top 5 of comparisons, man. So I think the league is about what have you done for me lately? Like, he just won. So now next year, the same expectations are going to be placed upon him again. And they're going to be saying that what happens this year would define LeBron's legacy. You know, so I just think that it's a continuum. Like, you know, every year you are defining and redefining who you are. Like, who's talking about KD that much this year, unless it's controversial? Like, any player,
right.
They're not getting talked about, man. But you know that when KD comes back, they're going to be talking about KD again, about being a premier player. Same thing with LeBron. When he was hurt, they didn't talk about LeBron like that in that light anymore. They were talking about KD is a supreme. But now.
It's almost like you said, out of sight, out of mind in a sense, man. But it's amazing. And I don't believe LeBron is human. This man, 17 years in the league, 35 years old, doing what he's done with all the miles he's had. I'm talking about been to the finals 9 of the last 10 years. That's a lot of miles at this man. All the NBA playoff games that he's played. I mean, that's like 3 different seasons he's played just in the playoffs alone. And this man has been able to do what he's been able to do. But you're right, because I don't think it's over for LeBron. I don't think it's fair to compare that legacy to other players around the NBA, because even Dwayne Wade tweeted at the finals, big congrats to King James. His legacy is still being written. Man. That man's 17 years in, and he ain't slowing down, Donny.
No.
That's what's scary about it.
You know what's crazy, Mike? To even talk about LeBron and hate on LeBron, you're just a hater. You know, this man has done everything possible. The man is just great. You know what I mean? I used to hate LeBron, you know what I'm saying? I was a hater at one time on LeBron when he was on Cleveland, because he used to whoop on the Lakers and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you have to give a man his prop. The man is incredible. The man is great. Anytime somebody is great, they want to bring him down. Y'all stop hating on LeBron. LeBron is the man. And I mean, you know your them Brooklyn Nets, you know what I'm saying? You know a flip flop, but I don't want you to punch me in my mouth. You got KD over there. But he's greater. He's greater than KD. You know what I'm saying? LeBron is just great, man. That's all I got to say. Lakers.
No, I agree with you, Donny. He is great, but I think what's unfortunate is that, and LeBron even said it himself, is that no matter how many accolades or how much he achieves the goals that people put in front of him, people are going to keep moving that goalpost.
Yep.
And it like, to be honest, that makes him an even greater athlete. The fact that people keep moving the goalpost and he still exceeds those expectations, that's what's making him one of the greatest athletes of our time, honestly, is that the goalpost continues to move and he continues to over exceed expectations.
Can I ask you guys a question? Who was on the basketball? What's his name? I know his name.
Jerry West, the logo.
Jerry West, right?
Yep.
How many championships that Jerry West win?
Jerry won another thing. He won like.
Oh no!
Yeah.
How many did he lose?
You know what? People don't. That's one thing about it. People know how many championships LeBron lost because they keep up with it. Because when he's in it, but they always compare him to Michael and other players out there. Now, you can't compare yourself. Bill Russell, you're talking about just championships alone, Bill Russell would be the greatest player of all time.
Right.
But once again, there shouldn't even be a comparison. Michael, I don't think he's better than Michael Jordan. That's just my GOAT comparison. I'm not going to get into that tonight because I'll never be able to convince you that LeBron is better or Michael Jordan is better. But here's the thing. LeBron is today's Michael Jordan because back when Michael played, Michael didn't compete against other players. Michael was competing against himself. So like you're talking about moving the goalpost, people expect more out of LeBron because LeBron just brings that excellence every single night. That's why he's only won 4 MVPs. LeBron is the greatest player in the world right now, still at a high level. Yet people compare LeBron every single season to LeBron James. Not other people in the league, but that's what they expect. LeBron gets 25, 8, and 8. That's just a regular night for LeBron James. For anybody else, that's almost a career night. You know what I mean? So the expectations are just higher for somebody like LeBron James.
Let me ask Kenny something. Kenny, you've been around the basketball for a long time. Did they do the same thing to Michael Jordan?
Well,
to LeBron?
Let me tell you something. I don't think they did because the NBA needed Michael Jordan at that time. Mm-hmm. You understand? At the time when Jordan was at his peak, man, the NBA needed him. You know, so they weren't talking the same talk, but Mike was winning consistently. You follow me? I mean, he was winning, but he was winning not just on the court. I mean, like the NBA really needed a superstar at that time. You follow me? So I think they protected him. They insulated him a little more. You know, they needed the great hope. You know, with LeBron, and these times are different, man, because you didn't have many players in the league that were like Mike. Mike had his way in the league with everybody he played against, but it's different with LeBron because you do have your KD. You do have, I don't know about Kawhi as much, man, but I know that KD will give anybody a run for their money when he's healthy. You just can't check him, man. He's a gifted guy. He was designed to play this game.
Quickly, Jerry West, 1 of 8, actually. So Jerry West won 1 championship, lost 8 times, holds the record for the most losses in NBA Finals, going 1-8 in the final 9 final appearances. So, but nobody, like you said, nobody talks about that.
So, Mike, why isn't LeBron on the basketball now and then?
Well, LeBron, Mike. First of all, I think Michael Jordan should be the logo. That's just me because LeBron hasn't finished playing yet. I think
what it should be, Mike, one on one side and one. You can have 2 logos, just have them both on the basketball.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a money thing too. I know that's a story because it's the whole thing. The NBA would have to give them money, and right now, an active player probably couldn't be on the logo because he's still associated with the NBA, and that would be like a branding type of situation, man. But like you said, you know, I think it's unfair to compare LeBron James right now, and even though we do it, because his legacy is still being written. I'm gonna take another break. I want to get back. I want to talk about there's greatest of all time and there's greatest athlete of all time, and I'm gonna tell you why I believe that LeBron James is still second on that list and is not behind Michael Jordan. It's coming up next.
Why aren't you voting?
When you vote, you can do something about everything. At voteforyourlife.com, it's never been faster or easier to make a plan to vote.
Time is running out, but you still have the chance to use your power.
Check your registration and make sure your address on file is correct.
Find your state's deadlines, learn about local candidates, and request a ballot.
You'll be able to see where candidates stand on issues you care about.
Order a ballot request form to be mailed to you with prepaid postage,
allowing you to vote early, easily, and safely.
Make a plan to vote early by finding your nearest ballot drop box, in-person polling place, or local mailbox.
And this is where you rise, this is where you shine, this is where you become the greatest of all time. History in the making.
Vote for your life.
Bring it. Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys. You guys need a ride?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
We're back on the Mike and Donny Show, talking sports. Mike Hill, my man Donny Harrell. We are joined by Kenny Lloyd and sports and entertainment journalist Amina J. Smith. We've been talking about LeBron James and his legacy. We were saying a lot of people think that LeBron could be the GOAT, Michael Jordan could be the GOAT. So there's the GOAT, greatest of all time, but then there's the GOAT, in my opinion, the greatest athlete of all time. And in my opinion, I think LeBron is still second on that list, not behind Michael. He's second on that list behind Muhammad Ali, in my opinion. Athlete of all time. I talk about what you do on and off the playing field, court, what you do off the court, especially, you know, your influence on life, your popularity, all those factors come into play, your tenacity, your mental aptitude, everything. And I think LeBron is second greatest athlete of all time when it comes to that category.
I totally agree with you when you talk about Muhammad Ali and what he was able to do in the ring, but also outside the ring. And for me, you know, when I watch sports, especially like nowadays, because, you know, we're attacking a lot of these social issues too, like Muhammad Ali was one of the pioneers of being able to do that. Like, he made white fans feel uncomfortable with his blackness. And I feel like he laid that groundwork for what we see today. When you see athletes kneel, when you see athletes, you know, they're trying to, you know, push social issues or get people to vote, or they're, you know, wearing shirts on the court and everything like that. Muhammad Ali, he was the one who really laid the groundwork and made fans feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, you mentioned Muhammad Ali and you talk about being a great athlete, definitely number one.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a great athlete. But I think when you look at, again, era, in that time with our people, they needed somebody like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, man, I mean, like, gave our people a sense of pride, something to cheer for, you know, and he represented us well. I think that era and this era is a little different, though. You know,
how so? Because I think you're talking about with the social climate right now. I think this era right now, I think we are a little bit woke, and I think LeBron James, when it comes to what Muhammad Ali did back then, can be a little comparable. He didn't give up his career, but the power that the athletes have and how they're using that power and how they're using that platform is really speaking volumes right now. I mean, similar. They were talking about giving up the season at one point, and that was very commendable.
But, you know, Muhammad took some stances, man, like not going to war, you know.
And LeBron is saying, there is no, like, outside of Colin Kaepernick, I don't think there is an athlete that has done more over the last 8 or 9 years when it comes to basically taking a stand for Black people and the atrocities and the injustice that we have in this country than LeBron James. That's one thing. This man has been incredible when it has come to that. And that's one of the reasons why I will never allow people, even though Donny calls me a hater on the basketball court, I will never let anybody disrespect LeBron James as a person.
I don't say you're a hater towards LeBron James. You're a hater towards the Lakers. You're just a born hater when it comes to Lakers. But you always big up LeBron James. You give LeBron James his props with, you know what I mean? Because he deserves all that. He's a good dude and a good humanitarian.
And that's what I'm talking about. The man, think about this. We've been talking about LeBron James since he's 15 years old, right? He was going to be the next. Everybody talked about the next Michael Jordan back in the day. Y'all remember Grant Hill. Y'all remember other players like that. He's like, okay, he's going to be Harold Miner was going to be the next Michael Jordan. LeBron James was coming out of high school and they say, oh, he's the next Michael Jordan. LeBron James, once again, in a lot of people's opinion, has not only become the next Michael Jordan, but could be better than Michael Jordan. It's hard to live up to those type of expectations, never get in trouble, still have that influence on life. Like I said, living up to the expectations and being as dominant as he's been consistently for a number of years, 17 years, and still going strong.
I think the era also plays a huge part too, just like Lloyd was saying. You know, you talk about Michael Jordan, and Michael really just wanted to be an athlete. Like, he just wanted to do whatever he needed to do on the court and, you know, go about his business. Whereas LeBron, he's handling business on the court, being one of the most dominant athletes of our time on the court, but then also lifting up the Black community. He's creating schools. He's creating these programs like More Than a Vote and all these other things. I mean, like you said, Mike, I haven't seen an athlete with the caliber or, you know, the resume that LeBron has and has been able to carry people, carry the Black community the way he's doing right now. And really the way he's been doing throughout his whole entire career. That's why I'm always respect him. Always. Whether or not, you know, I like the Lakers or not, whatever team he's on, I'm always going to respect LeBron.
Yeah, well, you know what? A lot of people, like, you all see clearly what LeBron is doing. A lot of people don't see what LeBron is doing. And I think the power is in the unseen. Like, he does a tremendous amount for the community, but a lot of people don't see everybody. You know why? Because he's not the kind of guy that walks around with a camera and showing everybody everything that he does. I think that if you really watch him and you're in a position that you guys are in, you see clearly the things that LeBron does. I don't think everybody sees exactly the impact that he has on our people, you know, and the sacrifices that he makes, and the stances that he takes. Now, through the playoffs, you saw it because he was very vocal about, but you know what? It was safe to be vocal because everybody was vocal about Black Lives Matter. Anytime you have the NBA on the court saying Black Lives Matter, I think it's safe to take a stance, but I don't think he just took it because it's safe. I think a lot of people took that stance because it was safe or because politically they had to. But I think he did what he always does.
LeBron's always been doing it. Always.
He led the charge. That's what I'm saying. Even when Trayvon Martin was killed, when he was right. He led when they had the hoodies on. They're making stands. You know, even what he's doing with the schools or whatnot, trying to make the communities better, man, putting his boys on. LeBron James is just a phenomenal human being. I'm going to tell you right now. Look, I don't know what he does in his real personal life. I know everybody has an image, and behind closed doors, people can be different. I've been around him a couple of times. Always been really cool and accommodating. So when people hate on him when it comes to that, I don't get it. And I don't even get sometimes when they hate on the court, when in game 5, when he got triple teamed, and they're basically saying he should have taken that shot. And he passed to a wide open guy who could have been the Steve Kerr. Michael Jordan passed to Steve Kerr. He passed to John Paxson. If you'd have knocked down that shot, Danny Green would have knocked down that shot, then you would have been applauding LeBron. But because Danny Green didn't make the shot, then you're going to get mad at LeBron James for not shooting over a triple team. I mean, I just don't get it sometimes. I don't get it. Somebody said, what about Serena Williams, all those championships, all those little Black girls picking up tennis rackets, getting women equal pay, representing Black women, our queens. We always gonna represent our queen.
I mean, that's not even a question. Serena is the queen. Don't get it twisted. I mean, Serena is definitely an icon in sports, like hands down. And obviously she's been, you know, a role model for young Black women, not only who are playing tennis, but across any sport. Just the way that she kind of attacks the sport, you know, and her drive and her focus and everything like that. I mean, that goes without question. Serena Williams, boy, she is the queen. Hands down, she's wearing the crown.
Yep. The expectations there from a child, thriving, influence, and the eras. Once again, you got to mention the eras.
You know, I know she's a queen because she's from LA. So anybody from LA, man.
Donny is stuck in LA. And if you are from LA, you are good with him.
Hey, you got a ticket. You got your ticket punched. When we get back, we're going to talk about other legacies and living up to expectations in a different way. When it comes to trailblazers. Amina's a trailblazer. Kenny's dad is a trailblazer that doesn't get enough credit. We're going to give him his flowers tonight right here on the Mike and Donny Show.
America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear. To drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
It's not just a donation.
It's a warm blanket.
It's a bottle of clean water.
It's a roof and a bed.
It's knowing someone cares.
It's feeling safe.
It's a today that's better than yesterday.
Every dollar you can spare helps so much more than you can imagine. Please donate now to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Your help is urgently needed.
My queens, how y'all doing? Everybody drinking on a little something?
Cocktails with the queens.
Congratulations to you for coming on over to my side for the grandma side.
Yeah!
Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
What is it about this grandma spirit that y'all are just so enamored with?
Unconditional love.
My mama told me that. I was like, you know, I'm your daughter, right? Talking about you love my child more than you love me.
Mike Hill living vicariously through my partner, Donny Harrell, who's on his vacation, baby. What's going on, man? You having a good time?
Man, I was having a good time. We got some beautiful guests here, Meanie and Kenny, Smooth Kenny, you know, my other brother from Detroit, you know what I mean? I got a connection with Detroit. People don't know that, but you know, way back in the 80s. But yeah, I just love my people.
Ronnie. And we love having him here. Hey, Kenny, you know, Kenny is royalty, man. His dad is the Jackie Robinson of basketball, bro. You know, first African-American player to play in the NBA, Earl Lloyd. And Kenny, I can only imagine, I don't know how old you were and if he shared stories with you, man. I can only imagine the pressure you face being that kind of trailblazer, bro.
Well, you know what, man? I would say this, that I'm not royalty, man. My father was royalty. You know, I'm a
got royal blood, brother. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I am? I'm legacy. You understand? I mean, I'm a product of all the sacrifices and everything he taught me. You know, I was sharing yesterday that, you know, like when my father played that first game, man, you know, the first three blacks, my father was the first to play, right? If he had gone out on the court and saw somebody throw popcorn or soda on his mother and ran into the stands and beat somebody half to death, you would have never seen Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain in their prime. Never. It would set us back as a people, blacks in the NBA 10 years, at least, right? Because he was an experiment. They didn't think that blacks could perform on a professional level consistently, mentally. So just like Jackie Robinson, man, those three guys, they were selected because, yeah, they had some talent, but they also had the mental capacity to withstand everything that they were going to encounter being the first blacks. And they knew that. They studied them. They had people, they talked to people all around them. So I think that's the most significant thing about what my father did. I mean, I think everything that was asked of him, he did. He came into the NBA, and when I used to talk to him about it, I said, Dad, you know, was it hard, you know, making a team? He said, man, making a team was a no-brainer, man. Making a team, I had to start. I had to exceed their expectations by far. And that's the kind of thing that he ingrained. So you know that he played, he started. He was one of the first African-American to play on a championship team. He played with Syracuse Nationals. He went on to coach, went to the Hall of, but I'll tell you the most significant thing, Mike, and I say this, man, listen, man, my father was that he did what a lot of players don't do. He positioned and prepared himself for the afterlife after basketball. And a lot of people don't know that he was not the first African-American, just the first African-American to play in the NBA, but he was the first African-American in an executive managerial position with Chrysler Corporation, right? Yes. And his job was to find other blacks that were capable mentally to function in that position. And so I think the thing is that everything that a black person was supposed to do to represent his people, man, like he honored the people that believed in him, gave him a shot, his mother, his coaches, man. You know, I mean, I think he's a symbol of what people should be. And that's why the NBA brought them back every year to speak to the rookies, man, because, you know, they need to know, man, that
they gotta have, and like you said, that temperament, that attitude, man. It was like the right person. Jackie Robinson at that time in baseball will tell you he wasn't the best baseball player out of the Negro leagues. It was somebody like Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, but he had the right temperament, right attitude. And I want to talk about that a little bit because even today, we're talking about being the first, being trailblazers. It's almost important as Black people, we got to be a certain type, a certain representation. You got to have the right Black person. Even the vice president right now, during the debate, they was talking about, oh, she couldn't go after Mike Pence in a sassy way because she didn't want to come across as the angry Black women. So you talking about your father played back in the day. It's 2020. And I mean, we still talking about how if we're the first, we got to be the right kind of first in a sense because people still don't get us in a way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we see it in our industry as well. It's like, you know, if you have an issue, you got to approach it the right way, right? You don't want to come up. Now, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm going to give you some background on me. I grew up in Brooklyn, East Flatbush, single parent home. You know, I'm a little rough around the edges. And so the way I was brought up, like I attack my issues head on. But when I learned, when I got into this industry, there's a certain way as a Black woman that I have to move. You know, I have to make sure that I'm speaking in an even tone, that, you know, when I'm speaking to, you know, somebody, if I have an issue, I want to make sure that I'm not coming up as the angry Black woman. And that is something that really, it bothers me so much because it's just like, as a Black woman, why, when I have an issue, why do I have to come off as the angry Black woman? Why can't I just, you know, be upset about something? Or why can't I express that I have an issue about something and work towards a solution? You know, that whole stereotype of that, you know, I have to come in snapping my neck and, you know, being loud and everything like that, you know, it's unfortunate that that's something that walks in the room before you. And we're in 2020. It's a shame that, like, I have to think about that before I come and address the issue and get a solution that, okay, well, I got to make sure that, you know, I smile and I come off as friendly. And that way, you know, I don't come off as angry. It's the most aggravating thing that I think I've had to deal with in my career.
And it's worse when you're the first, I tell you. I do the same thing when I was a weekend sportscaster in Dallas. I was the first Black weekend sportscaster this guy had ever hired down there. And it was the worst experience of my life because of the pressure that was on me, because of how he treated me. I couldn't be myself. It was almost like they tried to conform and make me somebody that I wasn't. We talked about this comparison last night, Donny. You know, we can have two fruits, but if I'm an apple and you want an orange, I'm never going to taste like an orange. No matter how much you cut me down to my core, I'm not going to taste like an orange or whatnot. So it's just really tough. But like when you're the first, there is a little bit of representation you got to make because they will go back and say, see, we tried to give them a chance, but look at what happened there.
Right. And it's crazy that you talk about having to change who you are. I remember coming out of school, right, and coming into sports media, wanting to be on camera. Like, people wanted me to have, my professors wanted me to have the Katie Couric look. Obviously, y'all, I don't look like Katie Couric. I'm a Black woman. I can't look like Katie Couric, but that was what I was told coming out of college, that if I wanted to have a job, I had to have straight hair. I had to cut my hair. I had to talk a certain way. I had to carry myself a certain way. And, you know, being a newbie, you know, at the time I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I walk the line. I want to do everything the right way. But now, you know, I'm almost like 10 years into my career. I'm comfortable being myself. And I'm like, look, y'all going to get these natural hair and these baby hairs with my edges laid, and you're going to like it. If you don't like it, then you can hit the pavement. That's just, it is what it is. But I do my job well.
Get that little brush. Look at the squirrel.
Okay,
right
you see me?
You know, I was talking off air about your dad, Earl Kenny, and I said he don't get enough recognition because we know about, you know, Jackie Robinson. A lot of people hear about Fritz Pollard in the NFL, but we don't hear a lot about Earl Lloyd. And I got two theories because, like you said, he didn't come in by himself. He's the first player to play an NBA game, but there are other Black players that came in at the same time as he did. And because when you look at the NBA right now, it's hard to believe that the NBA was all white at one time. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to recognize sometimes a person like Earl Lloyd, but we want to give him his flowers right now, even if nobody else isn't, because, you know, that's what this platform on Fox Soul is all about.
You know what, man? The NBA, you know, like I say, man, the power is not in the seen, it's the unseen, man. My father was always an ambassador for the NBA. And see, my father was never the kind of guy that sought the light. You know, he never did, man. Everything he did for the love of the game or for his people. Like, he could have done anything on this earth he wanted to do, man. My father always gave back, man. Like I remember, man, when he was trying to get George Gervin, man, he was trying to get him a hardship deal to come out of high school and go play pro. But they didn't let it happen, man. Like, my father was an advocate for these young African-American ball players, man. He got them, those who didn't have the grades, he got them in D3 schools, you know, until they got themselves together. I mean, man, so he never sought the light. Like, who he is a part of history, and you can't take that away. Will youngsters, the players now, man, I guarantee if you took a poll of the players now in the NBA and asked them who was the first African-American to play in the NBA, only the historians, man, people true to the game would know. Like 98% would not know.
Yep.
Okay?
But you know who Jackie Robinson is? They do a Jackie Robinson Day every year in Major League Baseball where all the players wear number 42. So once again, pioneers like Earl Lloyd should get their flowers, and we're going to give them to him tonight here on the mic.
Let's give it up. Let's give it up, Earl.
All right, we're going to take another break. When we get back, we're going to get into some headlines. Another cancellation in college football, big cancellation in college football. And
who was that, Mike?
I'm going to tell you after the break. Yeah, baby. Oh, boy, this is a big shakeup. The best college coach there is, maybe of all time. He got that COVID-19. We're going to tell you who it is coming up next.
Oh, I know that. I know who that is. Now, I don't like that team anyway.
America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear, to drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter.
It's not just a donation.
It's a warm blanket.
It's a bottle of clean water.
It's a roof and a bed.
It's knowing someone cares.
It's feeling safe.
It's a today that's better than yesterday.
Every dollar you can spare helps so much more than you can imagine. Please donate now to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Your help is urgently needed.
My queens, how y'all doing? Everybody drinking on a little something?
Cocktails with the Queens.
Congratulations to you for coming on over to my side for the grandma side.
Yeah.
Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
What is it about this grandmama spirit that y'all are just so enamored with?
Unconditional love.
My mama told me that. I was like, you know, I'm your daughter, right? Talking about you love my child more than you love me.
Back on the Mike and Donny show on Fox. Mike Hill with Donny Harrell talking to Kenny Lloyd and Amina Smith. Donny, usually you go to bed after the show because you
Yeah, I go to bed after the show, but I'm out the country, so how I'm gonna go to bed out the show? I'm in a beautiful island, I'm having fun, man. I'm here. I'm with these beautiful people on our show, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna stay up a little while, man, and enjoy this fire in the back of me, man.
Can you FaceTime me, bro? Like I said, the whole
I ain't FaceTime. You just got married to Cynthia. You worry about Cynthia tonight. You worry about Cynthia tonight, player.
Cynthia upstairs asleep right now, man. Hey, shout out. COVID-19 is really having an effect on all the games out there. A couple of NFL games got postponed, pushed back. LSU, Florida postponed until December. 19 positive cases with the Gators. And then Alabama coach Nick Saban, they got a big game this weekend against Georgia. He has been diagnosed with COVID-19. I mean,
game not canceled?
No, the game not canceled.
Game not canceled.
The LSU Florida game got postponed, but the Alabama game again. So obviously, Saban's not going to be on the sidelines this weekend. That's going to be a big blow because that's number 2 versus number 3. That's huge there, Amina.
Yeah, no, it's definitely huge. I think the biggest conversation I've been having around college football when it comes to COVID is just that it's just not safe. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, of course, we want college football to be back, but it's inevitable that, you know, you're gonna have these players and coaches test positive for COVID. I mean, we're talking about kids that are 18 between 22 years old, right? So you're gonna tell me that kids that are between 18 and 22 that they're following COVID rules. I don't know if you guys saw this video before the season kicked off at Auburn, but kids are like at parties, they're breathing on each other. I'm a germaphobe, so I don't like things like that, especially in the middle of a pandemic. It's just an unsafe situation. And when you talk about the long-term effects, like people probably think in the front of their minds, they're like, okay, like it's COVID, they're young, they're gonna bounce back and everything like that. We don't know what the long-term effects of this, you know, disease is going to be, you know, and I think that's the biggest red flag for me is that, you know, a lot of these young players are taking risks and going out there and playing in the middle of a pandemic that they really don't understand. And even the epidemiologists don't even understand. You know what I'm saying? So the whole situation is messed up. Obviously, people want college football to continue, but this season is just a hot mess. Just a hot mess.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how the NFL and college football gets through it all. And then college basketball is about to start up pretty soon as well. Hey, before we go real quick, Laker fans rejoicing, getting that chat. Snoop, one of the biggest Lakers fans out there, huge Kobe fan. You see the tattoo he got, Donny?
Yeah, I seen that tattoo he got on his arm. That was cool.
I mean, you're a Laker. Come on, bro. Like, come on.
I got too many tattoos on my body. I'm not doing that. I wish I can get some of these tattoos taken off. I'm not doing no tattoo. I love the Lakers. Don't get me wrong. I'm born.
Donny not a real fan. He got to get the tattoo, Donny. Come on.
I mean, I ain't got to be no real Laker fan. I was out there scalping tickets when I was 10 years old. I am a real Laker fan.
That sounds like an entrepreneur. Maybe not like a
right.
fan. You scalping tickets. That sounds like. Would you get a tattoo of your favorite sports team or sports hero put on your body?
No. I'm not getting nobody's tattoo or nobody's team on my body. It's not happening.
I'm a Yankees fan. I was always thinking about getting the interlocking NY now because that represents New York no matter where you go. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But I'm still not. I ain't doing it. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Mike. I'm not getting no type of team tattoos. I will say that my fiance, he has the U tattoo, but it's different. Like he played at the U, and obviously there's a lot of legacy and everything there. But for me, no, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah, that would be a hell no for me too, Mike.
Hell no. Hell no. All right, before we let you go, we got to get out of here. We got about a minute. We were talking about legacy with LeBron and everybody else. What are you hoping people are saying about you 20 years after your death? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you hope your legacy will be? Let's start off with you, Amina.
For me, I want my legacy to be how I held the door open for people behind me. I think that's the biggest thing. And that's something that, you know, my family has always instilled in me. It's not about only me getting through the door. And we talked about, you know, earlier on the show, being the first and the only. My job is not to just be successful for myself, but to also be successful for the people that are coming behind me, especially young Black women coming through in the sports media industry. Like that is number one for me. I got to hold the door open and I got to, you know, kind of show them the way through.
Kenny, good stuff. I like that.
You know, for me is that, you know, look, I made every mistake that a person could make, you know, and a lot of foolishness, man, but I'm an overcomer. And that my legacy is that, listen, you can always start over. It's never be afraid of a start over. And then I think for me, the most important thing about my legacy it's going to be my children, you know, because all my resources, man, everything that I've obtained at this stage in my life, man, it's not about material things for me, man. It's about my children. It's about leaving them, building another platform for them to operate from as my father built for me. Mm-hmm. And their success will be my legacy.
Amen. I love it. I love it. Donny?
Showing love. You know what I mean? As people say, he always showed me love. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want my legacy to be. You know, the more love we give to people, the better the world will be.
Yep. Peace, positivity, and making the world a better place.
Yeah.
Leaving it better than when you came into this world. Just doing your part to do that and to make the future bright for everybody. That's what the legacy should be. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Kenny, Amina. Great job tonight. Appreciate y'all coming on here and blessing us with your knowledge. Donny, another wonderful show, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you, wonderful guests, for being on our show.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
For this edition of
The Mike and Donny Show.
on Fox Soul. No matter where you are, have a good time. And I'm pretty sure have a great time. Call me Donny. Call me, man.
Stop it, Mike.
I salute you. We'll see you again tomorrow. Sammy Mack is coming up next.